What are some of the advantages of being a private company rather than a public firm?
Well, it's a good question, Pimm, and in this case, we've got a very unusual situation. It's extraordinary, actually. We've got a $57 billion startups. In this case, in other words, Michael Dell is looking at the business. He's valued at about 40 cents for every sales dollar, and that's, remember, trailing sales. But he's got to fundamentally change his business model, his product line, his distribution, and the market is going to keep pounding on him every single quarter. You know this is your business, for estimates and earnings, and he needs breather time to reconstruct and rebuild his business. So specifically in this case, with Dell, he's got time to rebuild his business, get his model right, where the market's not pounding on him every single day. And of course, you know, the valuation of the company right now is a little bit low, so he's looking at that as well.
Brian, point taken in terms of having to release quarterly results, but going private, would he have access to the same kind of capital necessary to actually rebuild the business?
Yeah, well, it's another good point, but if you look closely, they've got positive cash flow, they've got positive earnings, they've got a very, healthy net margin, about 4%, and it's consistent, Pimm. If you look over the past 3 years, even though these guys have lost 8% of their revenue over the past year, which is not good, there's been relatively flat revenue, but relatively flat and consistent and healthy profits. So they're generating a lot of cash, and they're going to use that cash to kind of rebuild the business.
Brian, as the chief executive of Sageworks, you've got a window into the world of private companies in the United States. Is there any way that we can generalize how they're doing?
Well, they're doing terrific. We've been talking about this for a while, as you know, and we're looking at 48 months of continuous strength in revenue, profits, margins, and cash flow. It's pretty amazing, actually. Of course, you can get into the negative side in that the average expansionary cycle is about 58 months or 55 months, so we may getting on the back end of that green a little bit. But right now, things are going very well.
So, Brian, today we learned, for example, that many private equity firms see their holdings as ripe for sale. Is that because they just want to cash in, or because there's something inherently sort of maybe even high-priced about the prices that private companies are able to command?
Yeah, the answer is yes, right? I mean, right now, if you're going to go public, you're going to sell your company, you're looking for a liquidity event through secondary markets, now's the perfect time. Your price is probably a little overvalued. It's a good time to do it. We've got, 12 IPOs in August. I mean, that's never happened, I think, since 2006 or 2007. So it's a good time to get your money out because the market is very strong.